Do you and your partner want to learn simple ways to grow closer?
Do you and your partner want to grow happier together?
Do you and your partner want to be a unified front?
Do you and your partner want to divorce-proof your marriage?
If you answer yes to these questions, you need to check out our book, Unlocking Forever, 10 Keys to a Successful Marriage Beyond I Do.
Each section focuses on a different aspect of marriage and briefly describes how we handled it in our relationship. At the end of the section, you're given an action step or key to complete with your partner.
These keys are practical steps you can immediately implement in your relationship and help you and your partner be proactive and intentional about your relationship.
You can purchase your copy on Amazon.com.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.
After over 25 years of marriage, we've learned that successful couples have great friendships, put each other first, and focus on light just as much as love. We believe marriage should be fun and easy.
Our goal is to share our journey with the hopes of helping others build strong, happy relationships. Join us as we continue to create our lives beyond I do. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond I Do podcast. On today, we have a special guest with us. We have Mrs. Robin Muhammad, who's here to talk to us about nutrition. We've had Robin and Scott join us previously to tell us about their beautiful love story.
Yes.
And so now Robin is going to share with us her passion for all things nutrition and health and wellness.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Robin, we have been nosy enough, and you have told us all about you guys' love story, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
The original reason why we connected, you wanted to talk about marriage at first, and I'm glad we did that. But I wanted to sit up to talk about you, how you got started in your passion.
In my passion. So let's talk about that. And thank you for having Scott and I before. Most of the time I am talking about nutrition. So whenever I get a chance to talk about love, which I have a love for food and nutrition, but that was fun to talk about that. But so let me just say this. I wasn't born passionate about food or nutrition. And I was at one point in my life, so I'm 49. So growing up, I had no clue about food and nutrition. I was pre-diabetic. I was overweight. And I would just eat a lot of bread because I thought, bread is low fat. And I was counting calories and I was doing all these things. So I had no clue. And I passed out in my early 20s. My blood sugar was out of control. And I was driving. So I kind of don't even remember some of it, but I was driving and then I was off on the side of the road. And I went to the doctor eventually and they told me that I had some blood sugar issues and that I just remember them saying like I should drink something sugary or eat some candy or something. And I thought, that's probably how it happened in the first place. That just didn't feel like a solution to me. And I didn't really have a solution. And years went past, actually. And at 30 years old, I had a daughter. And I thought, I've been blessed with this child. And I have no clue about how to feed her. I did not cook. I warmed up food out of the can. I didn't eat vegetables. I didn't do any of that. But I felt like I needed to respect the blessing that I was given with this child. And because I was overweight and my mom was overweight, and it was just the way it was, but I thought, this can't be. So I actually started to try to figure out what to feed my daughter. And in that journey is when I discovered that food will either kill you or keep you alive. that the illnesses and diseases we face are really due to what you put in your mouth or what you don't put in your mouth. To make that long story short, I hired a nutrition coach. Now, I went to college. I had a whole career. I wasn't thinking of having a career in nutrition at all. I had a nutrition coach, and it changed my life because I began to learn about what food was doing in my body, and the weight came off when I learned some of the biggest mistakes that I was making, which I'll share with you all. Some of the biggest nutrition mistakes that people make. And so when the weight came off, my blood sugar balance, all the things got in order, and I was able to feed my baby. And today my daughter's almost 19 and she eats. I'm proud of who she is because she didn't know me any other way. And that's what started my journey and my passion. And I started to just talk to people, like everyone that I knew. And I'm like, let me tell you what I learned. Let me tell you. And then people started saying, well, can you help me lose weight? Can you help me with my nutrition? I was thinking, no, that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. No, I cannot actually. And it just kept happening. And I helped my mom. And then long story short, I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something. I went back to school officially so I would be certified because I knew people were like, well, what do you have education? And what do you, all of that. So I went back to school, and it's been 16 years now that I've been helping people, others, use food and nutrition to build their mind and their body. If food runs our life, and the truth is that if we don't understand it and we don't get a hold of it, we won't be able to live our best life long term.
Right.
You can live it temporarily in pleasure, but long term, it's going to come and get you. And what's tricky about food, and I'll say this and then I'll pause for a minute because you may have some questions before we get into the biggest mistakes. But with food, it's you eat something and it does not generally right away cause an issue. Like you eat something fried or what have you, and right then and there that day, it maybe does not give you a heart attack that day, like right then and there. Or you eat a piece of cheesecake and right then and there that day, maybe it does raise your blood sugar, but right then it doesn't do you in. But it is that compound effect, right? Over time, that challenges us. And food is so good and it's so pleasurable.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to believe or hard to want to believe that this thing that may not be serving us long term, in that short term, you can't get past it. You're like, I'm just going to eat this right now. And then later it may get you. And that's what's hard about it. Food, you need it. It's
right.
It's like if you're an alcoholic, you don't have to be at the bar. You don't have to.
Right.
But with food, you have to eat to sustain your life.
Yes.
That's where it gets a little bit tricky. So I'm going to stop right there and see if you have questions for me. And then I'll actually go into what nutrition is, what it really is, and then some of the mistakes that we make and what to do about it.
Well, all of what you said, you stepped on my toes a couple of times.
Yep. Ow.
But I had a recent conversation with someone, and I was saying with food, it's so difficult because you have to eat.
Yep.
And for me, I'm very aware of my choices. I'm very aware that I need to do better. I'm very aware that when I eat better, I feel better.
Yeah.
But it doesn't click and stay. I've had moments where I've done really well for a long period of time. I was vegetarian, easing into being a vegan for almost a year. And then I just wanted some pizza.
Yeah.
And I wanted pepperoni on it. And it's like once I took that turn, there was no going back. So everything that you've said really resonates with me. The only thing that concerns me is that I'm at that age now. I am 49 now. So it's like, I know I need to do better, and time is shortening. So making that click in the mind
is where it is. So I'm going to share with you, and you said it doesn't click and it doesn't stay. And I know that. I know. When I was working with clients one-on-one, I don't work with clients one-on-one anymore, and I'll talk about that later, but I would know statistically how many people, if I had 10 people who would actually stick to it, how long it would take them. Like, I got real good at knowing my numbers, because it is very, very difficult. And it is like pushing a boulder up the hill. And it's not actually designed. Let me say it this way. The folks that provide us the food, the pizza makers and the French fries and all the stuff that's yummy to the tummy, they're in the lab with chemicals, with rats and mice and people and all the things, testing at what level can they make your brain turn on to the point where you cannot say no.
Right.
So it's because people ask this question, why can't I? Where's the willpower? So it is not even about you in that way. Because once you turn it on, once you eat that pizza, your brain is going to be like, what? Give me more. Do more. Right. It is like not even in your control if you turn it on.
Right.
Because I'm telling you again, the chemicals are in there strategically for you to get you. So then the question becomes what to do about that. So I'm going to share that in just a little bit, but let me say what nutrition is and what it is not. Nutrition is designed for building and repair in our body. That's it. So it's like what you eat, is your body going to be able to extract vitamins and nutrients from that in order to get into your cells, and then your body builds and repairs. So I always tell people that I don't like to say, don't eat this, don't eat that. Oh, nobody wants to hear that, right? All I say is do eat. So if on a daily you are flooding your body with foods that are serving you, foods that are serving you give you nutrients. So I'll be simple with this. Let's say it's fruits and vegetables. We'll just keep it simple. Fruits and vegetables, like that doesn't go out of style. Everybody knows that's good because they're the nutrients in there serve our cells. So if a strategy could be before you eat your whatever it is, your pizza, your chicken, your whatever you like, if you eat a big salad beforehand. I'm using a salad as an example just because it's easy right now. Just eating that big salad. So right then you're giving your body the nutrients that it needs so it can use that. And then if you, whatever room you have left, because I like French fries, right? You have your French fries because it matters the order you eat your food. Trust and believe that if you eat your food in a certain order, not what you're eating, but in a certain order, you will see a difference. So if you had...
Never heard that.
You never heard that. You know what? I'm gonna write that down too, because so I'm a God girl, and I'm gonna say this in this way. I'm gonna digress, but I'm gonna come back to the order. And I say I'm a God girl, not a church girl, but I'm a God girl in this way. And I didn't grow up in the church, but I hear messages. And a long time ago, God told me he was going to put me in this space as a nutritionist. And I was like, why? Like, what? I don't get this, because this isn't like, I told you this wasn't my career choice. And God said, I put you here because this is where I want you to best be served, or this is how I want you to show up. And so I was obedient. And so when I get on these calls, I just ask to be useful. And sometimes stuff comes out of my mouth. You know, it's like, it just comes out. So when you said you not heard that, I'm like, I said it and it's true. And I don't think I've ever said it, which is good, because in 16 years, like, have I said that? But it does matter. Think about it though. Let's say, okay, so we have some cheesecake, we got some French fries, we have some chicken. Let's just say what we have. And we have a big salad. If you had your big salad first, and you drank some water, then you had your chicken, Now you have left your French fries and your cheesecake. I promise you will not eat as much. You just won't. Now, if you do, you will be full and your stomach's going to hurt. And it'll say to yourself, okay, I'm going to just not eat as much. I'm going to eat that, but I just won't eat as much.
Right.
And so then your body starts to do two things. It starts to be trained, and then it starts to crave the nutrients. It's like we have to train our bodies. We have to tell it what to do. Otherwise, it's going to tell us what to do, right? So you have to be the trainer of your body and your mind, because there is people are trying to train your body and your mind. They are like the money is made by us eating what is available to us. And then because we eat certain things and we do certain things, then we become forever customers of the pharmaceutical industry, and they make all the money. Yes. If you notice in these days, all the commercials are, most of them, like all, but a lot of the commercials are from pharmaceutical companies. And back in the day, that wasn't the case. So they're the ones that are running the messaging, and the TV and the the producers of content, they want their advertising dollars, and the pharmaceutical companies want our eyes and our ears. And so you'll see, if you look on TV, you might see a juicy hamburger or whatever, and some whatever food. And then you might see some medications come after that, and then some heartburn stuff come after that, and all these medications, right? So it's like, oh, okay, just eat whatever this is and take this medication. Ask your doctor if it's for you. Never mind the side effects. And we just go and we go and we go.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we are making the rich richer. We are making the food companies rich.
Yes.
We are continuing to make the pharmaceutical companies rich, the healthcare system rich, and not nobody, but generally for us to be healthy serves who? Nobody but you.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, nobody but you. So that be the truth, right? So that's the reality. So again, what is a solution? There are many. One of them is to eat the food in a certain order.
So what you're telling me is I can have.
No, that's not what she said.
We can pop open the salad kit, right? And eat my salad. Eat all that.
Eat all that.
And no, my chicken, and I'm good to go, right?
So
go ahead.
Now, under normal circumstances, I would co-sign that and tell him we have a plan. However, we come from the generation of clean your plate. That's something he still struggles with.
No, we do, yeah.
If you eat your big salad, but you've put 2 pieces of chicken on your plate, if you see them,
you got to eat. Yeah,
I'm getting better with that.
You are. It's a work in progress, but we came from the clean your plate era. So
I am convinced that is why I see more unhealthier looking. I'm not going to say name, but unhealthier looking people in public today. Yeah. As we see, when we were kids,
clean your plate.
And it's clean your plate.
Clean your plate, or you ain't gonna get up off that table until you eat all that.
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
It's messaging, it's tradition, and think about it. Like food we've built a whole world around it, celebrations around it. Every time you have a party or somebody's married, or think about this, when people pass away, right? Then the food, a lot of times if they pass away from some health condition, the food that you're eating at the repast is the very food that
Right.
And people be mad if they see no repast.
Yeah. Or if you got, yes. I used to do classes where we would cook healthy food and it tastes so good, and people would eat it all up and then would say, if I could cook like this, I would eat like this. Or if I could eat like this, I would be healthy. And some of it's just an awareness of what you can cook so it tastes good. Because healthy food does not have to be terrible. And there's always a place. Like I'm never going to tell people, don't eat what you like. Because who wants to live this whole life not having things that food is a pleasure source, but it's learning how to manage it logistically. So there's the logistics of it, like the physical management of it, but then it's also the mental management of it. And the mental management of it is harder than the physical management of it because we're in a world that doesn't support us that way. So I want to talk solutions really about just a couple of things, but within your home, and then those that are listening, making those small shifts as a team. Because it's whoever you're hanging around, the 5 people, that's who you're going to eat like, be like, all of those things.
Yeah.
So if you are able to, within your tribe, say, okay, tribe, this is how we're going to approach this. And there's so many different strategies, but the thing that is what makes the most sense, and I always ask people, like, what are you willing to do? Because when I was a novice nutritionist, I was probably giving people guidance, but not really asking them what they're willing to do. Like I would like, this is what, you should do.
Right.
Tell nobody what you should do, because what you should do has nothing to do with what you're gonna do. So I always want to know, like, what are you willing to do? And then we can go with that. And some people are like, okay, baby steps. Like I could do a big salad before I eat. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Right. Let's start with what you can do and what you are willing to do and what you're willing to be consistent with, and then move forward. There's so many strategies. I had clients where I would ask them, because like some people love desserts or some people love chips and salsa, like me. I'd rather have chips and salsa and guacamole than cake. But some people, they need cake. And I said, okay, so let's plan this dessert day. And so I had some clients that said, you know what, I'm going to have a dessert once a month. And then I had some that say, I'm going to have it once a week, because they used to have it 5 days a week. Right. So now they're like, I'm going to have it once a week. Cool. And when they have it once a week, no guilt, no shame, go all in, lick your fork, have a good time. Right. You're doing it less than you were, but then maybe you still have a sweet tooth the other 5 days of the week. So let's strategize what you can do to manage that sweet tooth. There's tricks and hacks to do that, and then enjoy your dessert. So we made a commitment to say, okay, I'm going to have my dessert and have my cheesecake once a week. Those other days, I'm going to do some workarounds to manage my sweet tooth. And that's our approach. And then my other approach is I'm going to have my vegetables with every meal, or more meals than I had. Like whatever is more than what you're doing before. It's like when people start to try to do too much, then you're doing, because it's like with exercise. I learned this. I used to say, okay, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week. No, I'm not, because I ain't never even worked out 3 days a week. So how am I gonna get to 5?
Yeah.
Right? Let's start with 1 day a week. How about that? Like, and then master 1 day a week, right? It's like trying to do too much. And then some people have the personality where they're all or nothing. And that's a personality. Like we have different personalities of what we can do, but generally trying to do too much. And then people just get discouraged. They're like, I'm just not going to do it. So it's just like, pick one thing, do it, and just do it well. Even if it's water. Like, okay, we going to drink water at dinner instead of the sweet tea this month. That's all we're going to do. This month, we ain't going to talk about next month. Next month, we go back to our sweet tea. We're just going to drink water this month. That's what we're going to do. And then do it. And then say, okay, evaluate. I always like to say, do something, evaluate it, see if you liked it enough to keep going, and then add on something else. I love evaluation. Like do it for a good time and then see how you feel.
Right.
And then move on from it, or then move on to something else. And I know that works, because I'm going to tell you, if you go a month with not having sweet tea for dinner, you're going to notice a change. And then when you go back to your sweet tea, you're going to notice a change. I always just tell people, do something for a little bit and then go back to what you were doing. How about that?
And you're right. You're stepping on my toes again. Because I want change. I want it to happen. I want it to happen right now. Yeah. And I'm going to work out 5 times a week. And I'll start. Yeah. And next week happens. And then once I miss a day, I feel like, well, I've missed this day. So that plan is gone. So that, but one thing I don't do. I don't do well with the evaluating. I stopped. I drink water now more than I ever have in my life. That's all I drink, with the exception of I have a matcha habit, and I've cut down on that to 2 days a week instead of 5. Good. Every now and then I might have a soda or tea or something like that, but I don't do the evaluating. I don't think about how it's changed. And I know it has. I know that it's helped with my skin, and that's a big thing for me. Because somehow I don't find it fair that at 49, I'm fighting acne and facial hair and wrinkles. Like, pick something.
That's a whole nother conversation too. Right. I mean, it's like we could talk endlessly. I will say this too. I do a program that's just 10 days. And it's like, that's it. It's like 10 days. And I'm instructing people on eating clean and just flooding their body with produce and doing a certain protocol for 10 days. And then after the 10 days, I say, stop doing it. Like, stop it all. Like, go back to everything you were doing. And I evaluate with them. So I ask them, how do you feel? What do you notice? And then I say, you are free. You are free. Like, go be free, do whatever you want to do. And most people are like, no, I don't want to.
Right.
Or I do want to eat. For example, when I do the 10 days, we're not having dairy. And people's like, I miss my cheese. I'm like, okay, put your cheese back on your taco. And then they do. And sometimes they put their cheese back, and now their stomach is gurgling, and then they're like,
yeah.
But what happens, we do it every month, 10 days. Every month, 10 days. And what happens over time, people start little by little. I mean, this is over time. Sometimes it takes people years. I've had people just shift their life little by little, just by 10 days a month. Because what it feels like is not restrictive, meaning like you got 20 other days of the month to do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But those 10 days, it just, you like notice how you felt. And then you go, and then you self-evaluate and you play with it. There's no get there. There's never a mastery of this ever. It's like riding a mechanical bull all the time. Like, you were trying to stay on the healthy track, and then you fall off. It's like how it goes. There's never going to be a get there, because situations change, the environment changes, our bodies are changing, especially if you're a woman. My specialty are women in midlife. Like, that's who I work with, because that is me. But it's like, there are certain nutrients that our bodies need because we're at this certain age that when we were younger, it didn't matter as much.
Right.
I want to share, because I know our time, I don't want it to run out before I share the biggest nutrition mistakes that people make, because I think it is important. And I touched on some of them, but I want to wrap them, or I want to say them succinctly so people can hear that.
Okay.
So one of them is misunderstanding carbohydrates. And so carbohydrates are our main energy source. I'm going to say that. So carbohydrates could be pasta, it's bread, it's oatmeal, it's a piece of pie, it's cookies. Like, it's a whole lot of mixtures of, we'll say, the good and the bad. But mostly it's carbohydrates that we like the most, right? So my thing is chips or French fries. Love that stuff, right? So with carbohydrates, when we eat more than our body can process, right? So there's a threshold that everybody has where your body's like, okay, you had enough. Everything else you put into your mouth is going to turn into sugar and store as fat. So now the more muscle mass you have, the more exercise you have, the younger you are, the better your body deals with carbohydrates. So as men, y'all get older and y'all get that belly, and you were younger, you didn't have that belly because your body was able to process the carbohydrates more efficiently, right? So with carbohydrates, that's one thing that people misunderstand is what they actually do and what happens in the body if you get too much. So we are chubby as a people, not because we are eating too much fat per se. That might clog our arteries, fat, but it's the carbohydrates that are making us fat. So what do you do about that then? The other part is the protein. So protein, chicken, fish, turkey, tofu, eggs, cottage cheese, buffalo, like there's the protein, soybeans. So with protein is the buffer for carbohydrates. And like, this is the hardest thing for people to like get for a lot of times. It's like having a protein with your carbohydrate all the time. So like, I promise you, if I eat some banana pudding, I promise you I would have preceded it with a protein. Like, I just will do that because it's going to slow it down. It's not going to raise my blood sugar, and it'll help it behave better in my body. So I still ate the banana pudding. Yes, I did. I licked the spoon, I had a good time, but I had protein prior to doing that. And then people would say, so you just had a chicken breast before you had it? Now, if you're having it with your meal, then yeah, you had your protein and then you had your dessert. But yes, but what we do is we might just be like, let me go get a donut and just eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just carbohydrates willy-nilly going through your body without buffer. So there's nothing to stop it from moving really quickly through your body and through your blood sugar. It's just out there in your body universe. Mm-hmm. And so maybe you had a donut, maybe earlier that day you had some oatmeal, maybe you had a sandwich, you had an apple. All of that is just building up. Mm-hmm. But when you got that protein, it's a buffer. So it's like they work together. So people oftentimes don't understand the importance of having those with each other so it can support each other. Mm. Just that alone will balance the blood sugar better.
So you're saying the carb and the protein together?
Yep. Protein first, then the carb.
And then carb. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. And that will, they will work together as friends, and they will help each other out. Okay. The other thing that people don't understand, they don't think about when it comes to food is like, what truly is your relationship with food? Are you addicted? Because there's an addiction, right? There's addiction. Yes. Are you an emotional eater? Like, you sad, you got to eat. You stressed, you got to eat. You happy, you got to eat. Like, are you eating? Are you bored? I got to eat. Like, what is your relationship with it? Because that matters about how the solution should come for you. Because a lot of times, I think for me, well, as a nutritionist, people come to me with a problem and they think it's a nutrition problem, and maybe that's part of the problem, but that ain't the main problem. Mm-hmm. Like, right. You're not losing weight because you don't understand some things. It's because you have like an addiction to food, and that I'm not an addiction specialist, right? So that you may need some therapy for, like getting to the root of that ain't what I do. And I think a lot of people, they go to a nutritionist, like spending good old money, but they need another, like a nutritionist alongside of a psychotherapist.
Right.
So how many times, like when I was, like I said earlier on in my career, they would just shell out money and then they had an addiction to food. I can't fix that no matter if I tell you how to fix your carbohydrates and your protein. It's not that. So it's like, what is your relationship with food? Let's talk about that. Like, where's your mind about it? And then people get sad if you try to, remove something that's comfort.
Right.
Yeah. It's like my mom from her childhood, she loved to sit in front of the heater with some ice cream and play with her hair. Like, that just was her thing. Like, don't ask her not to do that. Like, to this very day, every day at 2:00, my mom is 70 years old. She doesn't do the ice cream. We've shifted what she does, but it's this vanilla protein shake, but she still does it every time. And it gives her that comfort. So it's like digging into like, what is your true relationship? So let me back up. So the biggest mistake people not understand, and they're not in order. misunderstanding carbohydrates, misunderstanding protein, misunderstanding your relationship with food. Like, what is your situation with it? And then I'm going to say this because vitamin D is like, it's like one of the things that I'm just a advocate for is so many people are low in vitamin D, and low vitamin D is an easy deficiency to have and also an easy one not to have. And our cells need vitamin D so desperately in order to function. And I just find that a lot of people, because we work inside all the time, we're not getting sun, at a nutrition mistake is not taking vitamin D adequately and not even knowing what your vitamin D levels are in the first place is a no-no, because people get misdiagnosed for all kinds of things when it was a vitamin D deficiency. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I mean, I tell you, it's a never-ending conversation, and there's so many things to talk about. I wrote some notes, so I'm looking at them. So I just want to make sure that I didn't leave anything. And it's sometimes it's a lack of knowledge for some, right? And then okay, I know people know what to do and fail to do what they know. My biggest thing I could say is truly, truly take baby steps and do something you know you can do.
Right.
You know you can do it at a rate that you can give yourself a pat on the back and you like, you know what? I did drink 1 cup of water today. Like I did. I used to not, but I did today. I drank 1 cup like that. I did that. And you're like, okay. And tomorrow I'm going to have 1, not 2, just 1. I'm going to master that. It's like setting a goal that you know you can do.
Right.
You can do that goal. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I wanted to double back on the vitamin D. I did some research, I don't know, a few months ago, and I remember listening to a radio show, and they had a professional on there, and he recommended 6,000 international units a day. I was like, well, I need that, so I'm gonna try that. So I went and got the Walmart vitamins or something like that, So I've been doing it, not on a daily basis, but more consistently than not. And I have noticed a difference. Now, what is that vitamin D daily supply doing for us?
So, let me tell you what happens when you don't have it. How about that? When you don't have vitamin D, it affects your mood. It affects your energy level. It affects your immune system. It affects your blood sugar. It affects your gut health. It affects, I said hair. Did I say hair? Like it touches so many parts of our bodies. And if you have melanated skin, your absorption is more challenged because vitamin D comes from the sun. It hits your skin produces it, and there you go. Well, for darker skin, it doesn't do it as efficiently. And if the older you get, we become less efficient in doing that. So then on the flip side, when you do have your vitamin D, now your cells are able to thrive better. So your cells need certain nutrients in order to fight off illness, fight off disease. So like we know that during the pandemic, those who had lower vitamin D levels had struggled with COVID the most. And that happened to be Black folks, unfortunately. So that is the reality of vitamin D. How much you should take. So 5,000 IUs, or in your case, 6,000 IUs is okay. I always want people to know where their levels start with to begin with, so then you know what you are doing. Because when it comes to supplements, and that's part of like, I really get into that because my company, Necessary Nutrition, we are vitamin, we produce, well, we don't produce out of the sun, but that's one of the supplements that we offer is vitamin D. So I'm real intimate with that and how it's made and all the things. But what happens is people are taking that supplement and any other supplement willy-nilly, like maybe you heard something on some radio show and then you started taking it, but you don't even know what not you, but us in general, where you were to begin with.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, do you need 6,000 or do you need 10,000 a day? Or do you need 2,000 a day? Like, what was your levels to begin with?
Right.
And if you know that, then that is helpful. But I would say this: if you're taking 5,000 IUs or 6,000, you're generally fine, and that's actually a good range. That's what I take daily. I didn't start off that way. I started off lower because I didn't know, and then when I saw what my vitamin D levels were, then I boosted it up. But I just talked to a customer yesterday, and her vitamin D levels were over 100. And that's like getting in the higher range. So she doesn't need to supplement with vitamin D.
Right.
She just doesn't. Like most people do, but she doesn't. And so just knowing that, I'm like, okay, you don't need that regularly. You don't need it every day. And then there's some people that are super, super low and they need to do a mega dose. This is all fun to me. Talking about this is so fun. But what happens is that, and then this is the last thing I'm going to say about this, is that, again, people take supplements because the world said you should, and then we go get something from the store. And I say this because, again, we make them, like, we know what it takes and all of that and what's in the stores and what goes into those. And you have no idea sometimes, not you personally, but people, what we're actually putting in our mouths.
Yeah.
Right.
And supplements are not regulated. So anybody could put anything in a bottle and put it on Amazon or put it in Walmart or what have you. And so I think and some people don't care. I just care because I just really pay attention to it. And a lot of the vitamin D supplements are, the casing is pork. And so I don't eat pork. Now, if people did eat pork, they don't care about that. But if you don't eat pork and you don't want a pork casing on your product, you don't know that, then you take it. And then there's also some coating that goes on to some of the supplements that actually work against our gut health. So it's like you're taking something, but it's actually messing up your digestive system in the process.
To find your vitamin D level in any of those levels, is that just with your doctor routine blood work, or is it something specific?
Those are routine blood work. So the vitamin D is, you just go and get that checked. And when they run your panels, to ask them, because sometimes they won't do it. And that's a whole nother story, but you ask them, just make sure you run my vitamin D. And then if you are at 30, they're going to tell you that you're fine. If you're below, they'll tell you you're deficient. Our bodies are maximally supported when our vitamin D levels are between 60 and 80. So maximally supported means that it's giving your cells what you need and your body is just better off in a healthier state. If you're at 30, that's like minimum wage. You can live off of minimum wage. Are you thriving?
Right.
Maybe not, but you're not deficient. So if you don't know, those that are listening, what your vitamin D levels are, start there. And then you'll know how to proceed. I know our time is getting short. And so I want to see if there's any other questions. And then I want to share with anybody listening how they can further hang out with me if they want to, or just get some additional information.
Do that. I guess if I just thought of something for the listeners and for ourselves. We want to, we've been listening to you. We want to get on the plan. But as everybody says, consult your doctor. So what are some things other than vitamin D that we should have checked just to make sure?
Gee. Well, shoot, that's a big question because it's if man or if you're a woman. So, and women are my expertise, but if you go to the doctor, and that goes into a whole nother, I wish that was an easy question too, because depending on what insurance you have they sometimes won't even let you check stuff that you really need to check.
Yeah.
And they won't check it in a way that's effective. But let's just say that obviously you're checking your blood pressure, you're checking your cholesterol, you're checking your your red blood cells, your white blood cells. So you're getting a general physical, but then it's like, okay, we don't even know what these numbers mean, right? But you're getting those, and you're looking at your vitamin and mineral content, your B vitamins and all those things. Those are like standard. But above that, I actually have a checklist. I will, if you all remind me, I will send you guys the checklist. I don't know how to get it to the audience, but I'll send you a checklist of like a health checklist of what you need to pay attention to. And then I'll answer this question for women. We need our hormones checked at a certain age, and your traditional doctor is not going to do it in a way that's going to give you the information that you need, because it's better done through, in some cases, urine and saliva. And your traditional doctor, that's just not what they do. And so for a woman, if you don't know where your estrogen is and your progesterone is and your testosterone, you don't know where they are, and they're declining as we age. It's just the way it is. They won't know how to feel better and mitigate that. So I'll say my specialty is I help women in midlife who are confused about what to eat and what to do to mitigate signs and concerns related to, or symptoms and concerns related to perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. So that's my sweet spot. Though generally, like, I talk about nutrition all in all, my sweet spot are women in midlife, again, who are confused about what to eat and what to do, because what you eat will determine how the journey plays out, like how the symptoms come up in your life. And so what I have this program called the Necessary Nutrition Pause Plan, and that is for women and the men that love them, but it's for women. When you do the program, you have clarity about what to eat, and you have peace of mind to know you're doing the right things and the right steps, like what to do first, second, and third. And then your journey will be better. It's like, because people say, well, what results can I expect? You will have less signs and symptoms related to perimenopause and menopause, period. Like, you just will. And I know that. So that is that. I'm going to share my website. Okay. I'm going to share the easy one. Is necessaryvitamind.com. So necessaryvitamind.com. Necessaryvitamind.com. That will lead to everything else, but that's where anybody can find the vitamin D and also the pause plan. And again, the pause plan is for women who just need clarity about what to eat and what to do. Because I tell you, this menopause journey is it's a journey, and nobody is going to escape it. If you live this long, you go get some of it, and your estrogen and your hormones are going to decline. They just will, no matter. So it's like having the tools to survive it and do well with it. So I think that's it. I know there's so much to talk about, guys.
As a pain, will I punkish if I try some of this stuff?
No.
I just believe that, you women are so together, and us men are just so not together in a lot of things. So I'm just like, well, hey, whatever the information that I can get that's going to help me and this woman live a happy and prosperous life, I want to take it in. So,
well, what happens when a man is married, he will be better. If you educate that woman, she's going to take care of her man and the children and the family. It's like she's the one, and then it'll trickle down. So I know that. So yeah. The woman will set you straight.
Salads first.
Yeah. And I would say that, well, I can't say all men are hard-headed. I can't say that. That would just be not true. But some are not easy to sway. And a lot of times for people, we don't want to change until something is wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have an uncle that's going through some, he's getting up in age. He'll be 70 next year. So he's got health issues. He's testicle cancer. things, battle with that. But the one thing that him and I talk all the time, and he said it's amazing how with the number of people he'll talk to that are men, like some of them will still want to go to the doctor. Some of them still don't even, I don't want to know about all that, so I ain't going to the doctor. Then I go to the doctor and find something wrong. And I'm like, man, that is crazy to me. And he had a friend of his who had the same, they got diagnosed at the exact same time. But this one did not go to the doctor, didn't get checkups, and now he's gone. And it's like, it's just, it amazes me how hard-headed in that situation that a lot of men can be. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that guy.
Fear is tough, though, because it's like, you just feel like if you don't know, it'll go away.
Right.
That's not true. It will get you.
Or ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. It's like, well, and then a lot of them, they'll be like, go to the doctor because the stomach hurt. And it's, oh, well, you got, stage 4 such and such.
That's what happened to my uncle.
Yeah, I probably could have done something for you. I wish the doctor probably be like, I probably could have done something for you if you saw me at 40.
Yep, that's what happened to my uncle. He just got diagnosed with colon cancer, and he had a year of the symptoms. Now, with colon cancer, once it gives you symptoms, you already in a pickle. So he had symptoms for a year, and then he just couldn't take it anymore because he just would not believe or could not believe that it could be that, and it was that. So, like I said, y'all, it's an endless conversation about health and nutrition. But I'll just leave you with 2 things. Again, food will either kill you or keep you alive, and it really matters how your life plays out. It's like it just does. And then I would always just say, be around people that are truly going in the direction that you want to go.
Yes.
Because if you don't, well, you'll go in the direction that they're going. If you don't want to go there, you go in there anyway. If you're with them, that's just the way it goes. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. I always say not that I don't eat with people that don't eat like me, but I try not to because I don't have the willpower. And if I'm having grilled salmon and broccoli and they having buffalo chicken wings, I'm going to ask them if I could please have some of what's on their plate. And no one asks me. And they take some of my brown rice. Nobody says that. Nobody's like, girl, can I have it? So.
Rice look good to the mug. Can I get some?
Yeah, right? Nobody's asking. But I would tell you this, though. When people go out to eat with me, I don't say nothing. I don't tell nobody nothing. I don't say, don't eat this. I don't say nothing. And just because I'm there, I would say it's a self-accusing spirit. Just because I'm there, they'll start ordering healthier. And I know. And
I would.
That would be me. Right. I'd be like, what kind of salad y'all got today?
As soon as we part ways, though.
And you're like, let me go get that pizza. I'm still hungry. Yeah. But
you know what? Give me some wings to go, please.
Yeah. That's what people do. And I'm like, eat what you want to eat. Yeah. So it's been so wonderful to talk to you all. Thank you so much for having me again. I'm going to say again, necessaryvitamind.com. That's where you can get all kinds of vitamin D, and then also find the link to the pause plan if you are a woman in midlife confused about what to eat and what to do to mitigate the signs and symptoms. And even if you think you know what to do, you might want to check that out.
Get some information.
And we're going to make sure when the episode goes out that all those things are posted. And if you get that checklist to me.
Oh, yes. Let me write that down.
Make sure that listeners have access to that checklist.
Yeah, you can definitely make it available to them. I'm going to send it to you. I'll send it to you soon. I just put it on my list.
I'm ordering some of your vitamin D.
I need to check because our doctor's office does do the chart thing where you can log in and see the results of your test.
Yeah.
So we need to at least see what type of results we have to work with and then go from there.
And let me know. And you can let me know what they are. And then, both of you, if you know what they are, that would be useful. Because who knows? Maybe your vitamin D is optimal and you're good, or maybe it's low and that's part of what is plaguing you. If you just never know.
Right.
So
all right. Thank you for joining us, Robin. You have shared so much great information with us.
Yes.
And for those who would like to hear something that sparked something in them, tell them how you can be reached.
Okay, I'll tell you again. So necessaryvitamind.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Nessie Nutri. N is in Nancy, E, S is in Sam, S is in Sam, Y, N is in Nancy, UTRI. Nessie Nutri on Instagram, necessaryvitamind.com. And that'll lead you to all the things of necessary nutrition. Yeah, this is my 16th year. I've learned so much in 16 years.
Wow,
that's fantastic.
Right. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Such a delight talking to you.
Thank you.
Had rough, crazy days, but just brought some light to
right.
Life. So
thank you.
Thank you. Much needed information.
Yes,
and much needed information to share.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beyond I Do podcast.
Please make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to our podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Beyond I Do podcast.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.